Be Me 28F, brand strategy manager at a mid-sized software company, pull in around $92,000 a year. Nothing insane, but comfortable. Always thought of myself as the classic independent, educated modern woman. Spent most of my 20s grinding career, traveling whenever I could, finding myself, or whatever that means. Dated plenty during that time. Usually the softer type of guys, the ones who were happy to follow my lead, nice enough. But eventually they all started to feel bland, no ambition, no real direction. Got bored fast. Then I meet Eric about 3 years ago. Eric is 34, senior systems engineer, pulls somewhere around 320,000 depending on bonuses. Immediately different from the usual guys, quiet, composed, the kind of guy who fixes problems instead of talking about them, not big on drama or emotional theatrics. First couple months, I'm honestly a little intimidated by him. He's not cold, just observant. Sometimes he'll sit there quietly while I'm talking and just watch. At first, I think he's silently judging me. Later realize he's just the type who listens before speaking. We click pretty fast after that move in together. After about a year of dating, life suddenly feels ridiculously good. We're living in this luxury high-rise downtown, huge windows from floor to ceiling, view of the Skyline building, has a gym, rooftop pool, concierge. The whole deal. Eric covers the rent, also utilities and groceries. Most of the time, I use my own paycheck for my stuff, student loans, car payment, clothes, savings, random things like weekend trips or concert tickets. For both of us, never really questioned the setup in my mind. It made sense he earns way more, so him paying more felt like basic fairness, equity, and all that. He never complains about money, never asks me to chip in. More honestly felt like I had life completely figured out. Fast forward to about 6 months ago. Eric plans this surprise weekend trip to Sonoma, private villa on a vineyard sunrise hot air balloon ride over the hills. After we land, he gets down on one knee. In the grass pulls out a massive ring platinum band, huge lab-grown diamond. I immediately start crying, say yes. Without hesitation, post it on Instagram. Like 5 minutes later, notifications exploding. Almost 500 likes within the first hour. Comments everywhere. Yas Queen. He did amazing. You deserve this, girl. Felt like the universe had officially promoted me to main character. Wedding planning starts basically. The next day I'm picturing a destination wedding, Lake Como, vibe, Italian villas and boats and sunset photos. Eric reviews the rough budget numbers, just nods, calmly, says we can probably pull it off. But we should manage the cash flow carefully. I'm floating around like I'm walking on clouds. Everything feels perfect. Then about 2 months after the engagement, Tuesday evening Eric comes home earlier than usual, carrying this thick folder, sits me down on the gray couch he bought for the living room. He looks serious, not angry, just focused. Hey, with the wedding getting closer and our finances involved, we should probably do a prenup. My stomach instantly sinks. I knew it was possible given how different our incomes are, but hearing it said out loud makes the whole thing feel weirdly transactional. I try to keep my voice calm. Okay, yeah. I get wanting to protect assets from before marriage. He nods. Exactly, it's pretty standard. Says his attorney already drafted a first version, tells me to take it, have my own lawyer review it, says everything is negotiable, hands me the folder. Thing feels like a brick in my hands. I don't open it right away, just set it on the coffee table and pour myself a glass of wine. Eric heads downstairs to the building gym. Once he's gone, I finally open the folder, like 30 pages of dense legal language, start skimming through it. Most of it seems normal. His premarital assets stay. His mine stay mine, separate debts, separate retirement accounts. Pretty typical stuff. Then I reach section 9, paragraph B. The infidelity clause specifically says, if a divorce happens because of proven cheating, whether sexual or emotional, the cheating spouse gives up any right to alimony, spousal support, or lump sum payouts applies to either one of us. But for some reason it immediately irritates me. My chest tightens reading it feels less like protection and more like a warning, like he's already preparing for the marriage to fail. Emotional infidelity, that wording bothers me the most. It's so vague. Does texting an ex happy birthday count? What about venting to a male coworker about work stress? My brain starts spinning. Suddenly the clause feels like a behavioral leash, like he could use it to control me. Later I shut the folder, finish the rest of my wine, go to bed. Still irritated, Eric comes back later from the gym, thinks I'm already asleep. I'm pretending he kisses my forehead gently. I don't move next day at work. I'm totally distracted. Finally call my best friend Olivia. Olivia is 31, single, works as a dating coach, very outspoken about men's nonsense. We meet for lunch at this overpriced salad cafe near my office. I slide the prenup across the table and show her the clause. She reads it, then literally laughs out loud. Girl. Absolutely not. Right? It feels super controlling, I say, while pushing kale around my bowl. Not just controlling, she says, pointing her fork at the page. It's borderline abusive. I blink. Abusive? Yeah. He's trying to regulate your sexuality. She taps the line about emotional cheating. That phrase could mean literally anything. She keeps going. He could claim you liking some guy's photo on Instagram counts as cheating, and suddenly you lose everything. That thought had never even crossed my mind, but once she says it, the fear starts settling in. So, what am I supposed to do? Olivia doesn't hesitate. You refuse it. She leans forward across the table. Tell him trust is the foundation of marriage. If he needs a legal contract to make sure you stay faithful, then he clearly doesn't trust you. She shrugs. And if he doesn't trust you, why marry you at all? I poke at my salad, but he makes way more than me. If the marriage ever fails, I'd need protection. Exactly, she says instantly. That's why alimony exists. Then she taps the page again. But you can't let him hold it hostage over some vague, cheating definition. She leans back in her chair. Tell him the clause goes, or the wedding doesn't happen. Suddenly, I feel this rush of confidence. Olivia's right, marriage is supposed to be partnership, not surveillance. So I hire a lawyer recommended by a coworker, older woman, sharp haircut designer, suit that probably costs more than my rent used to. Eric even agrees to cover her fees. We sit in her office. She starts reading through the draft, prenup carefully. The asset split itself. Looks pretty typical. My lawyer flips through the pages, slowly says, the property separation terms are standard points, out the alimony schedule. Eric suggested is actually fairly generous for the projected length of a marriage. I tap the page. What about the cheating clause? She adjusts her glasses and rereads that section. These are becoming more common lately, she says. Normally, we try to tighten the wording so there's no ambiguity. She taps the paragraph. For example, we could remove the emotional component and define it strictly as physical sexual contact. I shake my head. No. I want the entire clause removed. She pauses and looks at me carefully. All right, we can request that, she says slowly. But usually the higher-earning spouse insists on keeping something like this. She folds her hands on the desk. From their perspective, it prevents them from paying long-term support to someone who violated the marriage. It's a protection mechanism. I feel my irritation spike. It's insulting, I say. Then I repeat almost word for word what Olivia told me earlier. It turns our relationship into a financial contract based on suspicion. I'm not signing something that assumes I'm going to cheat someday. The lawyer just nods and writes a note in the margin. All right, she says, we'll strike Section 9 entirely. She looks back up. Anything else you want changed? I shake my head. The financial numbers themselves didn't bother me that night. I bring it up with Eric. We're sitting at the kitchen island eating Thai takeout. I clear my throat. So I went through the prenup draft. He glances up while chewing a spring roll. Okay, I'm fine with separating assets and debt, I say, but I'm not signing that cheating clause. He stops chewing for a second, swallows slowly. Why not? Because it's insulting, I say. It basically assumes I'm going to betray you. That's a terrible way to start a marriage. Trust should be enough. He looks at me calmly, not defensive, just thinking, it's not an assumption, he says, it's insurance. He shrugs slightly. I don't expect my condo to burn down either, but I still carry fire insurance. If neither of us cheats, the clause never activates. It just sits there unused. My voice rises a little. That's not the point. And the emotional cheating part is a trap. You could accuse me of that over something stupid like talking to a male friend. He nods slowly. Then we tighten the language. We could require documented proof, messages, admissions. Things like that. I'm open to making the definition clearer. I shake my head harder. No, I want it gone completely. He sets his fork down now. Amy, he says carefully, I'm the one taking the financial risk here. If the marriage ends, I could be paying you several $1,000s a month for years. I'm okay with that if the marriage fails for normal reasons. But I'm not comfortable paying someone who cheated on me. I feel my frustration boil over. See? That's exactly it. You're making this about money. Men always do that. You want financial leverage to control my behavior. He rubs his temples slowly, clearly trying to stay patient. It's about fairness, he says. You've told me 100 times you believe in equality. Equality includes accountability. If someone breaks the vows of the marriage, why should they still benefit from the contract around it? I feel tears starting to form. Because I'm your wife, I say. You're supposed to care about my well-being no matter what. He studies my face for a long moment, expression unreadable. Finally, he sighs. Okay. Let me think about it and talk with my lawyer. A small rush of victory hits me immediately. I stood my ground. I didn't just roll over a whole week, passes things around. The apartment feels slightly cold. Eric is polite but distant, spends a lot more time working in his home office. I assume he's just annoyed that I push back. I go out again with Olivia and a couple other friends for drinks, tell them I refuse the clause. They cheer like I won a battle. He needs to understand you're not property, Olivia says. Another friend, Megan, laughs. Guys think their money buys obedience. I feel completely validated. Later that night, I post an Instagram story about boundaries and knowing your worth. Eric watches the story but doesn't react to it. 2 days later, he asks me to come into the living room. He's holding another folder. I spoke with my attorney, he says calmly. I smile immediately, assuming he caved, and he nods slightly. You were right about one thing. The cheating clause was messy. Defining infidelity creates gray areas and potential surveillance dynamics. I grin. Exactly. See? That's what I was saying. He doesn't smile back, so I removed the clause entirely. I stand up excitedly to hug him. He gently stops me with one hand. Read the new version first. I sit back down, still feeling victorious. Open the folder, flip to the spousal support section. Section 4, paragraph A. The line jumps out immediately in the event of divorce, for any reason. Both parties waive all rights to spousal support, alimony, or financial maintenance. Each person keeps their own income and assets acquired during the marriage. I blink, read it again, slower. Alimony 0 under any circumstance. I look up at him. Wait, you removed alimony? He leans back in his chair. Yes. Why? I ask, confused. We already agreed on the schedule. You said you were willing to support me if things didn't work out. He nods calmly. I was. Under the condition there was a penalty if someone betrayed the marriage. You wanted the penalty removed, so I removed the risk. I feel anger surge up instantly. That's not fair. You make like 4 times my salary. If we divorce after 10 years, I'll be used to a certain lifestyle. He answers immediately, and I'll have paid for that lifestyle for 10 years. You have a career. You have a degree. You've told me repeatedly you're an independent woman. He tilts his head slightly. Why would you need monthly payments from a man you're no longer married to? Because it's about equity, I shout. What if I take time off work to raise kids? There's already a clause for child support, he says. That's required by law. I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about adult alimony. My voice shakes now. Without alimony, I have no safety net. If you leave me for some younger woman someday, I get nothing. He shrugs slightly. And if you cheat on me with the pool guy, you also get nothing. He folds his hands calmly. See? Now it's perfectly equal. No conditions. No behavior policing. Just a clean break if the marriage ends. He looks directly at me. Isn't that what you wanted? My hands are literally shaking while holding the new draft. This is a nightmare. The original agreement guaranteed me around $3,800 a month for half the length of the marriage. 10-year marriage meant 5 years of payments over time that could easily add up to millions. Now the number is 0, nothing, not even $1. I look up at Eric. You're punishing me, I say quietly. He shakes his head once. I'm negotiating. His voice is calm. Almost clinical. You rejected my terms. These are the revised terms. He shrugs slightly. You said you wanted unconditional trust. So I'm giving you unconditional independence. I stare at the paper. I can't sign this, I say. My lawyer would never approve it. Then don't sign it, he replies. Simply, he folds his arms. But I'm not getting married without a prenup, and I'm not offering alimony without some guarantee of fidelity. Since you won't offer the guarantee, he gestures toward the page. Then I won't offer the alimony. My chest tightens. So what are you saying? Pick one, he says. He stands up. I'm going for a run. Anne just walks out of the apartment. I sit there frozen for a few seconds, then grab my phone and call my lawyer. Immediately she asks me to email the new draft. I hear her flipping pages on the other end of the line, then silence, long silence. Well, she finally says, he decided to play hardball. Can we fight this? I ask quickly. We can try negotiating, she says, but realistically the easiest solution would be restoring the original terms. Meaning? You accept the infidelity clause. Then he likely restores the alimony schedule. My stomach drops. But I already made a huge point about that clause. If I walk it back, I'll look weak. There's a pause, then my lawyer sighs. Her voice loses the polished professional tone. Amy, let me be blunt. You are about to marry a man with several million in assets. You make under 6 figures. So ask yourself something. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be financially secure? Her words make my skin crawl. It sounds like she's siding with him. I want both, I say sharply. I want the financial protection, and I don't want that clause. She exhales slowly. That outcome is very unlikely now. He made it clear his generosity was conditional on loyalty. You made it clear loyalty shouldn't be contractual, so logically, he removed the generosity. He's being misogynistic, I snap. He's being pragmatic, she replies. My professional advice is to accept the original agreement if it's still available. Swallow your pride. I hang up before she can say anything else. I'm furious pacing around the apartment. I feel completely cornered if I go back to the first deal. I basically admit he won. I admit my loyalty has a price tag. If I sign this new version, I'm financially exposed. No safety net at all. And if I walk away from the relationship entirely, I lose everything. The apartment, the lifestyle, the status. So, I decide something else. I'll call his bluff. He loves me. He proposed to me. He's not going to destroy the entire wedding over a legal clause. This is just him testing me. I wait for him to come back from his run. Sit on the couch with my arms crossed about. 40 minutes later, he walks in sweaty, breathing hard, wiping his forehead with his shirt. I look straight at him. I'm not signing this version. My voice is ice cold, and I'm not signing the original one either. He stops in the middle of the room. You need to trust me, I continue, and you need to support me. If you actually love me, you won't make me choose. He grabs a towel from the kitchen counter and wipes his face slowly, then just stands there looking at me. The silence stretches. I'm expecting him to fold, to sigh, and say something like, "Okay, babe, let's figure something else out." Instead, his expression changes, not angry, just disappointed. "I do love you, Amy," he says quietly, "but I'm starting to see a level of entitlement here that worries me." I blink. "Excuse me?" "You want the benefits of a traditional husband," he continues, while invoking modern independence whenever it's convenient. "That's not true," I snap. "It is," he says calmly. "You want me to pay the rent, cover most expenses, provide financial protection. But the moment I ask for a contractual assurance that you won't betray the marriage, you call it abusive." He gestures toward the prenup. "Then when I treat you as financially independent, you call it punishment." He walks to the kitchen, opens the fridge, grabs a bottle of water, takes a long drink. My heart is pounding. "I think we need to pause the wedding planning," he says finally. My chest drops. "What?" "I'm not comfortable moving forward right now. We seem to have very different views on what partnership means." I feel panic rising. "You're canceling the wedding because I won't sign your stupid contract?" He shakes his head slightly. "I'm pausing things because you're showing me who you are. And I'm paying attention." I lose it. Start yelling, crying, grab a coaster from the coffee table, and throw it across the room. It smacks the wall. Eric doesn't even flinch, he just watches quietly. "I'm staying at a hotel tonight," he says. He walks to the bedroom, packs a small bag, then leaves. Just like that, I'm standing alone in this huge luxury apartment. The silence feels unbearable. I immediately call Olivia. She's furious on my behalf. "He's gaslighting you," she says. "This is manipulation. Do not cave. Give it 2 days and he'll come crawling back. He's just throwing a tantrum." I believe her. For the next 3 days, I post vague, sad quotes on my Instagram stories. Things about self-worth and toxic relationships. Waiting for his message, waiting for him to apologize. Nothing comes on the 4th day. I get an email not from Eric, from the building management subject line. Lease termination notice. Apparently Eric paid the early termination fee. I text him immediately. "What the hell is this?" An hour later he replies, "I'm moving out. You have 30 days. I've covered this month's rent. We're done." My hands start shaking again. I grab my keys and drive straight to his office building, rage boiling in my chest, rehearsing everything I'm going to say. I'm going to shame him. I'm going to expose how manipulative and toxic he's being. I pull into the parking garage and march into the lobby. The receptionist is the same woman I've waved to for 2 years. She sees me, and suddenly looks uncomfortable, shuffling papers on her desk. "I'm sorry, Amy," she says quietly. "I can't let you upstairs. He left instructions. No visitors." My voice cracks. I'm not a visitor. I'm his fiancé. People in the lobby start staring at me. Conversation noise dies down. A security guard takes a few steps forward, hand resting near his belt. "Ma'am, you'll need to step outside or leave the building." My face burns with humiliation. I spin around and storm back out onto the sidewalk. Of course it's starting to drizzle. Perfect. I decide I'm not leaving. He has to come out eventually. So I wait 1 hour, 2 hours, almost 3, standing under the awning, replaying the entire argument in my head, refining every point I'm going to throw at him, all the ways I'll expose how misogynistic he's being. Around 6:30. The glass doors finally open. Eric walks out. He's chatting with the company. CFO, holding a coffee cup. Like it's any normal day. He looks completely relaxed, actually, laughing at something. The CFO said, "The sound hits me like a punch in the chest. How the hell is he laughing after blowing up my life?" I rush toward them. "Eric," he stops immediately. The smile disappears. His face switches to that neutral boardroom expression. The CFO glances between us awkwardly, then quickly mutters an excuse and hurries toward the parking garage. Suddenly, it's just the two of us standing on the wet pavement. "Amy," he says. Not babe, not honey. Just Amy. His voice completely flat. "You can't just kick me out through an email," I shout. "I don't even care who hears anymore. That's illegal. It's immoral. You're trying to intimidate me." He calmly adjusts his cuff like we're discussing a work memo. "The lease is month to month and under my name. I gave you 30 days notice. It's legal." He shrugs slightly. "And I'm not intimidating you. I'm disengaging." "We were about to get married," I say. My voice breaking. "I already started planning the venue. My family knows. You owe me an explanation." He nods once. "I already gave you one. You said asking for a guarantee of fidelity was abusive. You said financial support was a tool of control." He spreads his hands slightly. "So I removed the support. I removed the control. You're free now." "This isn't freedom," I sob. "This is abandonment." My face is wet now from both rain and tears. He looks straight at me, completely steady. "It's consequences." The word lands heavy. "You negotiated yourself out of a relationship, Amy. You turned our marriage into a power struggle where you had to win every point. You wanted the lifestyle of a traditional wife, without the accountability that comes with it." "That's not true," I choke out. "I was fighting for my rights." He checks his watch briefly. "You were fighting a ghost. I offered you everything. You rejected it because you didn't like the loyalty clause in the fine print." He turns and starts walking toward his Tesla. In the lot, suddenly panic floods my chest. The realization hits me. He's actually leaving. This isn't a bluff. The anger disappears instantly, replaced by pure fear. I hurry after him and grab his arm. "Eric, wait. Please stop." My voice cracks. I'll sign it. Okay? I'll sign the first prenup. The cheating clause. Everything. I don't care anymore. Just come home. He stops walking, looks down at my hand gripping his suit sleeve, then gently but firmly removes it. No, he says quietly. My stomach drops. Why? That's what you wanted. He sighs. For the first time, there's actual sadness in his voice. I wanted a wife who naturally wanted to be faithful. Not someone who agrees to loyalty because she's financially cornered. My throat tightens. The offer expired the moment you decided my trust was an insult. Please, I whisper. I love you. He opens the car door, pauses, looks back at me. One last time, his eyes look tired. You think you love me, he says softly, but you love what I provide. If you actually love me, that clause wouldn't have mattered. He gets into the car door, closes with a heavy thud. The Tesla hums quietly to life and drives away. I'm left standing in the rain, and exhaust fumes hair sticking to my face. A group of interns walks past, staring at the crying woman on the curb. I suddenly feel tiny, like I just pushed all my chips into a poker hand with nothing and found out the other player had a royal flush. I go back to the apartment later that night, open my laptop, start browsing apartments I can afford. On my $92,000 salary in Seattle reality hits fast. Anything downtown is completely out of reach. The closest thing is a tiny studio, about 40 minutes away. $2,100 a month after taxes and student loans. That's nearly half my take-home pay. I stare at my closet full of designer clothes Eric bought me over the years. The realization hits like a truck. I absolutely fumbled the bag. 2 weeks later, I'm moving out. Olivia comes to help pack boxes. She brings wine. You're honestly better off, she keeps saying. That guy was toxic. I look around the studio. I'm moving into linoleum floors, a window facing a brick wall. No air conditioning. I don't feel like I dodged a bullet. I feel like I shot myself in the foot. I try getting back on dating apps, rewrite my bio. Independent woman looking for a partner, not a savior. The matches are different guys. My age who are successful mostly want casual hookups. The ones looking for something serious are struggling financially. One guy, 33, works at a coffee shop, asks if we can split the bill on the first date. Another guy, 36, lives with 3 roommates and talks about his painting career. I go out with a guy who says he's a project manager. Turns out he manages a small construction crew, makes about $60,000, a nice enough guy. But when the check arrives, he looks straight at me. We splitting this? I force a polite smile and tap my card inside. I'm dying 3 months after the breakup. I'm miserable. Work is harder because I'm constantly stressed about money. My manager even pulls me aside one afternoon. Amy, you seem distracted lately. Yeah, probably because I'm eating instant ramen in a shoebox apartment instead of sushi in a penthouse. Late at night, I stalk Eric's social media using a burner account. He hasn't posted anything himself. Then one day, I see a tagged photo from someone else. He's at some charity gala, wearing a tux, looking fit, looking happy, and on his arm is a girl, maybe 24, soft features, simple dress, staring up at him like he hung the moon. I click on her profile. I open her profile. She's a preschool teacher. Bio just says love baking, hiking, and God. No political rants, no boss babe slogans. Just photos of her smiling in a kitchen making cookies. Something heavy settles in my stomach. Olivia texts me a screenshot of the same gala picture. Look at this little pick-me he found, she writes. Probably dumb as rocks. He just wants a maid. I type back, yeah, totally, but this time, I don't really believe it. I look around my quiet apartment sirens echoing somewhere down the street, and my brain keeps replaying that prenup meeting. I remember Eric saying, I do love you. I remember the version where the alimony was 0, and suddenly something clicks in my head. He wasn't trying to control me. He was protecting himself from exactly what happened. Me listening to terrible advice from bitter single friends. I wanted the authority of a modern independent woman and the privileges of a traditional wife. What I got instead was the authority. I'm completely independent. Now no one monitoring my behavior, no one asking me to sign anything, no one caring whether I cheat, because no one is committed to me. Months start blending together. Winter rolls into Seattle, gray skies, endless rain. Everything feels depressing. My student loan payments, restart. I had paused them before the wedding, quietly assuming Eric would help wipe them out afterward. Now my budget is razor thin, my car needs repairs. So I start listing some of the handbags he bought me on Poshmark. Packing them hurts more than I expected. Each one holds a memory. The Saint Laurent bag from our Paris trip, the Gucci one from my birthday dinner. I'm literally selling memories so I can afford brake pads. I decide maybe my attitude before was too aggressive. Try adjusting my approach. Match with a guy named Kevin, 31. Accountant seems stable. We grab drinks, talk about work and life values. I make a conscious effort to stay chill. No politics, no feminist debates. Kevin seems into me. Second date. We go to dinner, conversation turns to past relationships. I give a watered-down version of the Eric story. We just wanted different things. He was very traditional. Kevin nods. Yeah, traditional expectations are tough in this city. I'm really looking for a partner, an equal. I brighten a little, same. Kevin smiles. Cool. So, you're good with 50-50 on everything then? Rent, bills, chores. I pause for a second. Ideally, yeah, though I think equity matters too, like proportional income. Kevin frowns slightly. Well, I make about 90,000. You said you make around 85. He shrugs. So, basically 50-50. And suddenly I feel this wave of exhaustion with Eric. My salary was spending money with Kevin. My salary is survival. The romantic energy drains right out of the room. And that's when a terrible realization hits me. I'm not actually looking for an equal partner. I'm looking for a provider, but I can't say that. Not to Kevin, not to my friends, barely even to myself. A year passes after the breakup. I turn 30. The big 3-0 celebrate at some grimy dive bar with Olivia and Megan. We take shots, they toast to freedom. I feel nauseous. I slip into the bathroom to check my phone. For some reason, I unblock Eric just to look. Huge mistake wedding photos. He married the preschool teacher. They're in Hawaii. She looks glowing. He looks happier than I ever saw him. Caption reads, "To my beautiful wife, thank you for choosing me. Here's to a lifetime of trust." The word trust burns into my brain. I doubt he made her sign the zero alimony clause. Or maybe he did, and she signed it instantly, because she never planned to cheat anyway. Or maybe she signed the original cheating clause without caring, because she wasn't listening to podcasts telling her loyalty is oppressive. I scroll the comments. His mom wrote one, "Welcome to the family, sweetheart. So happy for you both." I slowly slide down the bathroom wall. A drunk girl in the stall next to me asks, "Hey, you okay?" I shake my head. "No," I sob. "I'm an idiot." She opens the door slightly. "Did some guy hurt you?" I wipe mascara off my cheeks. "No, I hurt myself. I basically won the lottery and ripped up the ticket because I didn't like the font." Monday morning, I drag myself to work. Hungover HR asks me to come into a meeting. My stomach sinks immediately. "Amy, the company is restructuring. Marketing is being reduced. Tech sector slowdown. We're letting several people go. Your severance will be 2 weeks." I pack my desk into a cardboard box. Later, I'm standing on the curb waiting for an Uber because I can't afford downtown parking anymore. I glance up at the high-rise across the street, the same building Eric and I used to live in, the top floors glowing warm gold in the evening. I imagine him up there, maybe cooking dinner with his new wife. Maybe she's telling him about her day with the kids at school, and he's listening, really listening, because she brings him peace. My phone buzzes a message from Olivia. "Brunch tomorrow? I have to tell you about this toxic guy I matched with on Bumble." I stare at the text for a few seconds, then delete it. Block Olivia, the Uber driver cancels the ride. I sigh and start walking toward the bus stop. My mind drifts back to that prenup clause again, how furious I was about it. "It's the principle," I kept saying. Well, now I have my principles, and the thing I've realized is this real oppression isn't a sentence in a contract. It's the lies you tell yourself about what you deserve without earning it. I'm finally the independent woman I always said I wanted to be, and I have never been more terrified in my life.